All right. Hey now, welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. I'm Dustin DeHart, and joining me is my better looking, smarter co-host.
Nick Lehman.
There it is. Nick, good to see you, my brother.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. This is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm excited to be here. How do you like our studio? This is pretty cool. Huh?
You know, when you invited me, this is not what I envisioned, but you're the real deal.
Well, thank you very much. This is an amazing studio, and we are here giving you a new podcast. This is the first of many, right?
Yeah.
So, as you said earlier, they can only get better from here, right?
Got to start somewhere.
We have to start somewhere, and we should start somewhere with probably telling everybody who we are, what we do, and a little bit about the podcast and what it's about. So, if you would, why don't you take the lead and I'll follow. Give everybody a little background on yourself, Nick, and what you do.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Nick Lehman, born and raised in Las Vegas, so Vegas born. Been in the real estate industry for 16 years, going on 17th. Coming up here. Gosh, 3 kids, amazing wife. I have a 18-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old. One in college, go Colonials, attends Robert Morris University as a soccer player, so a little shout out to her. Just really excited to be here. Got in the game. I was going to be an orthodontist.
Yeah.
And decided I failed my way to real estate, so here I am.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Orthodontist, huh?
Yeah, I had nice teeth. That was my tagline when I wanted to be senior class president. Vote for Nick. He has nice teeth.
I love it. Well, I am Dustin DeHart, and as Nick, I am also born and raised in Las Vegas. Nick, obviously, is the real estate arm of the show, and I'm the mortgage arm of the show. I am a loan officer. I work for Keller Mortgage, which I started at in March, but I have been in an industry since 2006. I think it's when you started as well,
Same.
right?
Look at that.
Look at that, huh? We've been working together for a long time, right? And it's been a hell of a journey. It's been quite of a year, and it's going to be fun doing this podcast and getting good information out. But I am married. I've been married for 20 years, a little over 20 years. I don't have kids like you, but I have a zoo at my house. I have
perfect.
2 French bulldogs. I have 2 turtles in the backyard and a bunch of koi fish.
Wow.
And we should probably write this down for a topic for the next couple shows is why you shouldn't buy or build a koi pond in your backyard.
Ooh.
Unless you want to waste a lot of money. Okay. So anyways, it's been a great journey in the mortgage industry. I've been blessed to have helped almost over 3,000 families or people, achieve buying their dream home or refinancing the one they're in. It's a stressful job, you know that, but I love it, and it's been a great journey. And part of my journey has been through radio. For about 10 years, Nick, I did radio shows for my business, and up until this year, I stopped doing it. Right? Sometimes numerous shows throughout the year, but it was one main show for a long time, every single weekend, and I felt like, you know what, enough's enough. It's ran its course, and it's been 10 years without a weekend off. And about 6 months into this year, I kind of started missing the radio show a little bit, I'll be honest with you. And I've heard the podcast thing thrown at me ad nauseum. And I will tell you, I was not into podcasts, never really got into it. And I've certainly embraced it. And I have seen a lot of podcasts, and some I really enjoy, and some podcasts that are in our arena, real estate, mortgages, and like anything, some are good, some you don't like. It's like TV, right? That's why you have numerous channels, right? So I presented this idea to you because I thought you would probably jive with it and dig it, how we presented this. Kind of like a Sports Center theme, right? And we'll talk about the rundown later because that is the name of the show, by the way. And I wanted to do something different, right? Where it is formatted so if people do like the show, or if they don't, at least they know that they're going to get kind of the same things each show, right?
Makes sense.
And it's easier for us as well, right?
The prep work will be much smoother for sure.
Exactly. And you were all in, and here we are. 2 weeks later, we got our first show going, man. Amazing, isn't it?
It's going to be fun to look back a year from now and go, wow, look at where we started and look where we are now.
Yes,
for sure.
We will see. And speaking of a year, what a hell of a year it's been, right?
Good segue there.
It's certainly been, the most wild, stressful, eventful year I've had in the industry ever. And me and you got in right at the beginning of the meltdown.
For
too,
sure.
you
Not
know?
our first rodeo. This year has been, if I'm going to use an analogy, it was like we were on a freeway in a car, the speed limit's 75, and we were doing 110. And sometime in May, June, it was like complete step on the brakes. You're off the freeway now, and now you're in a school zone. It has completely slowed down, and honestly needed. To be really honest.
I mean, and that's a great point because look, the last 2 years and the beginning of this year, the first quarter, I think all of us knew that this wasn't sustainable.
No.
Right? We knew there was going to be a correction. It had to slow down, right? Rates were going to stay this low forever. But what we didn't realize, or at least I didn't, was the magnitude of what happened and the velocity, right? How quick it happened. It felt like it was literally a light switch, and all of a sudden the market just completely, I know we're sick of the word shift, but shifted, right? So I get, so look, rates, started to go up in March, right? They didn't go from 3 to 7 in March, right? For you as a real estate agent, when did you really see like, okay, wow, I'm gonna have to talk to my seller. We're not getting 40 grand over ask price,
Absolutely.
right? And I'm not gonna get 40 offers in 2 days. Like when was that? And did it happen like immediately, or was it gradually? Or just kind of like boom, it was there. Right?
It honestly, so I had a listing. It was a probate. We listed it beginning of May. Ended up having 30 offers in 5 days. Of course, nobody had seen it. Once people had, visited the home, they wanted to change their number. We go back on the market literally like May 7th, and I didn't get an offer for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was like literally that fast.
And then literally all of your houses are now, instead of pending, they say active.
Yeah,
right?
offer was 440. The next round of offers,
Yeah. And the same thing with rates. I mean, rates literally went from, in March to all of a sudden we're in the 4s, and then we get to the 5s, and people are like jumping off rooftops, right? And then in August, believe it or not, we were starting to come back down. I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to go get below 5 and then the 4s. And then I sent this smart email out to everybody saying that, and then literally every day since they went up, right? And up until the last 3 weeks, they were pushing 7, maybe going to 8%, right? And they've come crashing back down, so to speak, in relative terms. But, we'll get into this in other shows, but inflation looks like it's reached its peak, right? So that was great for interest rates because inflation is the arch enemy of bonds, right? It erodes the value over time. So hopefully we start to see in these forthcoming months better inflation numbers, and we really will start to see rates come down because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help our market, right? And that's what's going to start putting more buyers into this market. And I have a lot of shows that we want to do talking about what you can do now in this market and what we, project. And by all means, when we tell you our opinions on what's going to happen, it's our opinions, right?
Absolutely.
We're not here telling you this is actually what's going to happen. My crystal ball's in the shop. It's been in the shop my whole life. But one of these days I'll get it fixed and I'll actually be right on something. But anyway, so really quickly, within about a minute or two, if you had to, if your family member or somebody came to you right now, Nick, and said, hey, I want to buy a house.
Okay.
What would you tell them? Is it a good idea to buy right now, or should they wait?
I honestly think, great question. I mean, I think that's the question. It's definitely the question I'm getting asked the most right now. The answer is, I feel at this very moment, you have the most leverage to negotiate an amazing deal for you. What has to be strategized for you is, are you comfortable with the monthly payment? People always try to time the market. When are rates going to be here and this price here? What we have to understand is most of the buyers are on the sidelines right now. And when there are less buyers, that's when sellers are going to be the most motivated to give you the best deal possible. So in my opinion, it's now. If we wait till after the holidays or where rates are going to go, they're projected to go to, more buyers will be in the market, therefore creating more competition, and it's just simply supply and demand. So that question, throw it back to you. Where do you see rates going in the next?
Yeah,
you know?
no, I'm very bullish, and I think by February, March, we'll see them hitting the fives, and then hopefully by mid next year, we may be pushing the high fours.
Oh,
and
wow.
again, we'll see, but it all depends on certain things. So as a buyer right now, again, let's just wrap this up. There's a lot of things in your favor right now.
100%.
Except for lower rates, right?
For sure.
So take advantage of it now, because if rates do come down, like I expect and many other experts, which we'll talk about in other shows, then you can refinance maybe, right?
Absolutely.
And if you wait, all you get is that lower rate, right? And now you're competing with everybody, and here you're back to another crazy market.
Yeah,
again,
with no
you know what I
closing
mean?
costs, no repairs.
Right. Exactly. So look, we could talk about this for another hour, right? But I want a different show. All right, so I'm going to mix things up. I didn't put this in the show prep, but I've actually got a little game show for you right now.
For me?
For you.
Okay.
I'm going to see how good of a real estate agent you are.
Ooh.
Right?
In a game.
My real estate agent that I hire, I would expect that he would know a celebrity's house, right? So I'm going to pull up the first house that you're going to guess. Now, you probably won't know from that, but that house is actually in Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. That's your first
Omaha.
guess. The person that bought that in 1958 paid $31,500 for it. It's worth about $1.2 million on Zillow right now. But the gentleman that lives and bought in that house, let's just say he is living under his means, okay? Because he's one of the wealthiest guys on the planet. Put it that way.
Do I guess now?
Yes.
It's rapid fire? Okay. Does he fly Southwest? Drive a Toyota Camry?
Probably. Yes.
Okay, let's say Buffett. Is it
Boom.
Warren?
Well, let's see
Yes.
if he is right.
All
He
right.
is. Oh, I gave the wrong sound effect. Hold on.
It's our first time.
That was a long laugh. That's what you were supposed
There
to
it
get.
is. Thank you.
That was amazing.
Thank
All
you.
right, let's get to our next house, Nick. This one is in Chicago, or right outside of Chicago. That's a big ass house.
Yeah,
right?
that's
actually, let's see,
is
it's
that?
about 6,000 square feet on 7
Wow.
acres. Now, here's the deal with this house. It was listed about 10 years ago. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, for $29 million, and now it's at $14.8 million. The guy that owns this is probably the most popular guy in Chicago, and one of the most popular guys on the face of the planet. Any guess?
Oh, yeah. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Figured
look
you know that.
how happy he
He's
is.
crying because
His house still for sale.
He can't get his house sold. So
Needs a better agent.
look, I mean, the problem with that house is I like the movie Space Jam, but I don't want my house, for $15 million to actually look like that as well. There's a lot of people that are, newer agents, and the thing is now calling expired listings, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't
What's
that be? Well, that would be a good one to
That
call,
would be a
right?
good one.
Let's role play. I'm Michael Jordan. I want to see how well you do.
Oh, this is really on the fly.
All right, yeah, here we go. Hey, yeah. Hello, this is Michael Jordan. Right?
Yes, Mr. Jordan. I noticed that your house didn't sell. I was reaching out to see, can you give me a reason or two why you think the property didn't sell?
Well, first of all, I see that you're a 702 area code, so you must be from Las Vegas. So first of all those rumors about when I attend your lovely city and don't tip, okay, and you've nicknamed my friend Scottie Pippen, no tippin' Pippen, which is pretty funny. Well, they're all true, I will have you know, all right? I like my money, and I'm a little cheap, all right? So, Nick, you can have this listing, but the 6% co-op that's traditional, we're going to change that. It's going to be 0.23% because I like 23, okay? Now, for you, you're going to get 0 because you're the listing agent. And here's why. Because if you sell this house, right, you're the one guy that finally sold this house, you're going to get a ton more business because you sold my house, all right? And then we're going to give the buyer's agent 0.23%, which doesn't sound like a lot, 23 basis points. but if I do my math correctly, on 15 million, that's about $350,000.
Yeah.
All right, so fax me over the contract. Michael's still old school; he uses faxes.
Fax.
All right, so anyways, that was pretty good. You probably need to home up your skills a little
do.
better.
Expireds
on
are not
listings.
my thing. Yeah.
It was Michael Jordan, so I get it.
I was a little
scared as
starstruck,
well.
for sure.
I think we got time for. Well, actually, I know. You know what? I had two more. We're running out of time because we know what we need to do next. Get to the point of the show, right? Which is called the rundown. So explain what the rundown is for me.
Yeah, the rundown is a rapid fire of important topics in real estate, lending, and some fun random facts about Las Vegas. We will kind of go, you go, I go. We'll have a clock, a timer, and we'll talk about the relevant things that literally we get phone calls on all week.
Right, and we may or may not have stole this idea from a show that's been around for like 23 years, right?
Us? I mean,
Yeah,
we
no.
are trying to be authentic and genuine here.
Absolutely. Look, look at what I say. Like, if it works, I'll copy it.
That's
right.
right. If it's not broke,
that's
don't
form
try to
of
fix
flattery.
it.
So, all right, let's get the rundown up if we can. I don't see it yet. It is coming. But anyways, there it is.
There it is.
Look at that. There is the rundown. And I
Are we ready?
I think we are ready.
Okay, let's start the clock. Dustin, there's some new news about conforming loan limits. Talk to me.
There is. So, first of all, whether you like this or not, people, there are limits on how much we can lend to you, right? And with the conforming loan limits, what that means is that's the GSEs, Fannie or Freddie, right? So those loan limits, if they go over a certain limit, it's now a jumbo loan. So I think we actually have a graph here. If we can pop that up on the screen, we can show you what those went up to. So we have went from 686 to now 647,200 to 726,200. It's a big increase.
Yeah.
That's a huge increase, right? So literally, you could put $750,000 house. You could put 3% down right now, right? You know what's crazy is look at that. We lost the graph, but back in 2018, the loan limit was 485,000, right? So literally, think about that. A 486,000 loan was a jumbo loan about 4 years ago. That seems a little
wild.
crazy, right?
It's wild.
Now, here's the other interesting thing. What is it going to be next year? Because that's what I'm concerned about. I don't know. I certainly don't think we're going up, or how much are we coming down is the $1 million question, right? So that's the conforming loan limits, right? So, and again, if you go over that, now it's in a jumbo loan, right?
Okay.
And different qualifications, different investors, they just can't sell to Fannie and Freddie. So they're going to literally beat you up in underwriting because of that, right? And another loan limit, which would be FHA, which is HUD, they increased theirs as well, right? So they went from 680 to now 495, let's say, $500 off.
Okay.
I like to round up for simple math purposes. So FHA has gone up as well, and that was a huge increase. So take these when we can get them, guys, because these might be coming down the following year. So it's
sure.
good news for loan limits next year. And and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, you can literally go out and buy a pretty big house with a little money down right now.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All right, let's get to the next one. And that is foreclosures, Nick. What is God, there's a lot of chatter about foreclosures. Are going to start hitting our market, and we're going to go nuts, right?
The best part about this show is we are going to be a tool or a resource to just really
We are going to be tools.
filter out the noise.
Yep.
And the noise, the calls I take weekly on foreclosures. Are there foreclosures? There are. Are foreclosures up? They are. But what we have to understand is we got to put this in relative terms. There was a 18-month moratorium where there could be zero. So if I went from 0 foreclosures to 10 foreclosures,
Right.
do I have more foreclosures?
Certainly.
I do. Okay, at an astronomical rate of 1,000% increase.
Right.
That's what people need to understand. So the reality of the foreclosure situation is there are some. Very few are coming to the pipeline. At Q3, if we could go to the graph there, we are up to 88,000 foreclosed homes. And as you can see, the peak in 2009, 8, so you have 8, 9, 10, around 2 million a year.
But look at those. Those were all normal, and those were pretty high. Like, of course, there was no foreclosures last year because everybody could get forbearance.
Absolutely.
Right? So Now, look, at the end of the day, are there going to be some people in trouble that bought recently? Sure, right? I mean, property values have come down. Let's not forget that, right?
Right.
But we've had more equity right now than we've ever had in the history of the United States, right? So I don't see a foreclosure problem coming. Certainly, they're going to increase when they literally stopped for
From
a year.
zero,
Right.
absolutely.
And now the market's coming down.
Yeah.
But like again, as you said, I don't see this becoming some
It's not
massive
it's not
foreclosure.
some epic thing that's going to happen. People will just sell. That's the reality. If a notice of default's filed or there's some life event that has changed circumstances, they'll just sell because they're going to cash out the equity.
But we'll keep monitoring this and
Yeah.
see how they go. And I'm curious to see actually, by next year, what they're actually at and how much they've gone up.
I think it'll be very normal numbers. Let's throw it over to the EDC Hotel. Dustin, what's going on in Vegas?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, that's not the erectile dysfunction convention,
Okay.
right? So, if we get the graph or our picture up there, it's the EDC Hotel. That's
Wow.
actually, you're a hip guy. That's the Electric Daisy Carnival.
Very good. I'm proud of you.
Have you been to one of those? By the way?
It's on the bucket list. It's coming.
Okay. Really?
When the kids are, I gotta wait till my kids are gone.
Okay. So yeah, look, I don't get it. I don't understand how people, 100,000 people watch some guy behind a desk push a couple buttons for
a
9
couple
hours.
100,000.
Right? Is it a couple 100,000?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same music for 12 hours in the heat. But I do get this. It makes a whole lot of money, right?
It does.
And there are a whole lot of people that do get it. And I commend Resorts World for embracing it and figuring out, hey, some of these people have some money. They got to stay somewhere, right? So why not do this? So those 3 days are going to have all these packages and cool things and VIP specials. I did read one thing was health and wellness in the morning. I believe that's AKA for an IV. Yeah, for a hangover.
Rehydrating.
Right. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, look, I didn't get Burning Man either. That's even in the desert that's in July, right? With no amenities. And it's all about the art, right? No, it's all about the money. So, but, hey, if I was the Kardashians and I rolled in with a $2 million RV, maybe I'd go to Burning Man and watch them burn down a stick guy, But anyways, let's get to the next topic here. It's the men's basketball tournament.
Yeah.
There we go. We had to mix in some sports because we are fantasy football guys.
We are. That's actually how we met.
It is how we met.
Fantasy football
I think
league.
I beat you every year. Nah,
That's not true. That's
me
not
and you
true.
were usually
We'll have to pull up the
neck
stats,
and neck
but,
on who would win. Okay.
We'll see.
Anyways, go ahead.
So men's basketball. Listen, 2023. Well, first of all, it just got announced last week that we are getting our first Final Four, which is amazing. I mean, talk about a bucket list item for me. I don't know if you've ever been to a Final Four.
I
but-
have not. No,
Okay,
yeah.
so 2028, Las Vegas will be hosting their first Final Four, and what that really symbolizes for me is that we're a real city. I mean, we
are a
we
sports
have
city.
sports city.
Yeah.
We're getting teams like A's can now come with waiving the fee. We are just showing up and being a legit metro area, which
It's
is
amazing
awesome.
to see because we're both from here,
right?
And the whole thing was, Vegas can't support
Yeah.
teams. And by the way, this coming year in 2023,
Right.
we get a really good tournament. The part of the regionals who get into the Final Four.
Correct. Yeah, the
right?
Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 will be hosted here.
Right.
I think it's going to be the Midwest Regional or the West Regional, but
Right.
super excited. I'm going to try to attend a game or two. Maybe we can go together.
By the way, there's a good football game coming up 2024. The Super Bowl. Here, right?
Wow.
Yeah, amazing, right?
No, super
it
cool.
is crazy. No, I'd love to go to that. I actually have Raiders season tickets in the club, and I had to spend about 35 grand more for the PSL, and that was to get rights to the Final Four in the Super Bowl. And I'm
Really?
like, I'll back off that. But but we'll certainly get tickets.
Okay,
you know
we'll
what I
figure
mean?
that out.
Yeah, I can't wait. It is astonishing how quickly. Like everybody, like you bet your ass we're getting an NBA team.
Oh, it's
quickly.
happening.
The A's, that is my team. I don't think they're coming here. I just
Really?
don't see it. I mean, it's a lot of leverage, and
Okay.
I don't know where the money's coming from because I don't certainly think we're going to pony up another $750 million for a sports team.
It's fair.
And the A's franchise, they don't have a whole lot of money. But anyways,
It's true.
What's our next topic?
All right, back to housing. Let's talk about assumable loans.
Yes. Okay.
What is this? Like, it is a buzzword. What's an assumable loan, Dustin?
Well, that's a question that throughout my career I have maybe received 5 times in 17 years, and now I receive that question about 5 times a week. So, and here's why. Well, first of all, let's talk about what is an assumable loan, right? So, FHA and VA are basically the only loans that are allowed to be assumed, and that means if you're going to buy a house, and Nick, you're the real estate agent, your client Neil is a veteran, and Neil has a $250,000 loan, VA loan with a 2.75% rate, right? Well, it would be nice for that buyer to get that rate because he's certainly ain't getting 2.75%, right? So you would call up the servicer and see if the buyer approves and do all that to get the paperwork done. It does take a while because the servicers are a little inundated nowadays because they haven't done any of these in 15 years because there was no reason to.
Right.
But the problem and why they're not really taking off as much as they should is because let's say you're now selling a house for $500,000.
Okay.
Right? Well, there's a $250,000 delta there that the buyer needs to come in with, right? And normally they don't have 250 grand sitting in the bank. Now, is there opportunities where people bought recently and it's now $30,000 or $40,000? Absolutely, right? But the preponderance of these loans that are out there, they're not going to have enough, the spread's going to be too big for somebody to come in, right? And by the way, an FHA loan, more often than not, it's going to have mortgage insurance on it for the life of the loan, right? So even if it's a really low rate, when you factor in that $200 in mortgage insurance, well, now, that doesn't sound so attractive, right? And the one thing people need to understand too, on the VA side, you don't have to be a veteran to assume the loan. But if you do that, the person that is the veteran will have their benefits tangled up if it's not a veteran. So there's a lot of ins and outs. I don't actually do them. I'm a loan officer. You go to the servicer, but people are actually fielding a lot of questions to me. So I certainly read up and did my homework on it. But we'll see. There are going to be a few out there, but I don't think they're going to really move the needle that much. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, where are we at? What do I have? 1 minute left on the assumable loans?
You're over.
Rambling on?
You did. You rambled a lot.
Wake up
seller. Okay, so my friend Aaron Rodgers said this after a press conference after Green Bay win 0-2. My boy Aaron.
By the way, I think he's coming to Vegas next year.
LAX. Relax. Your house didn't sell in 5 minutes, 5 days. It's okay. We're going to be just fine. The market has transitioned. What we need to do is focus on strategy to get the correct number of people inside the home, and it takes a little bit longer than 5 minutes or 5 days. So fielding these phone calls of, oh my gosh, what's happening? How come my house didn't sell right away? It's going to be okay. Okay, we put the plan together. You have to be priced correctly. You're gonna give up some concessions, some costs. You may have to move a little bit on price, but people just need to.
And you may not get an offer
relax.
you like. Right?
Just relax. Well, we seem to make our sellers pretty happy, but the pace, we're just not used to this slow pace, and people just need to breathe.
Because at the end of the day, if the home is priced correctly, right?
Yeah.
And it's a nice house, it's going to sell.
For sure. It'll move. It'll move. It just takes a little bit longer. The days on market has creeped up. We're, in the 40s.
It's creeped up. I looked at that the other day. I thought, oh my God, it's gone nuts. But it wasn't, that far off from what it was.
Well, last I saw, I think it was 37, 38 days, which
is kind of normal.
Normal was like 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but when people are used to 5 minutes, 38 days seems like an eternity. And that's where we just need to take a breath, pause, relax. It'll still move, and we'll find the right buyer for you.
It's a funny thing. It's kind of the same thing with rates, right? Everyone's got so used to 2, 3s and everything else, and now, well, I think they're starting to realize that's never going to happen again. And now, boy, wait till 5 or 4% rates hit. Well, everybody's going to be freaking out because these are low rates again. You know what I mean? It's just perception's reality, and here we go. We're into a new market and a new world, and we've got to embrace it.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
just a little bit of time. I mean, it tastes a little sour lemons right now, but
Yeah.
2's tasted good, and now 7 doesn't taste good, but 5's going to taste great on an interest rate here, in in the next few months.
Absolutely. I told you this would go quick, right? Maybe too quick. I think maybe 45 minutes we might need for the next one.
We're going to get
Yeah,
better. I
yeah.
think the pace. You're going to talk a little less during our transitions.
Yeah, we
here.
don't have to get bios on each other as well. So that's, that'll shave off 10 minutes right there.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, that was awesome. So I can't wait for next week. I know we have the housing numbers that came out. So
Yeah.
we'll hit that. We may have some special guests come in.
Oh, is this going to be a
yeah.
surprise too?
Yeah, another
Oh,
surprise.
I love
so I'm
surprises.
looking forward to that. So yeah, first one's in the book. Looking forward to the next one and many more, my friend.
Love it. No,
this was a lot of fun.
This was fun. I didn't sweat too much, hopefully,
Yeah, a
but
little
no,
bit. You're
that's all
all
right.
right.
We'll
But,
powder my nose later.
There we go.
Thank you. First
Yes.
one's done. So
Nick, how do they get a hold of you if they want to, my friend?
I appreciate that. Yeah, Nick Lehman, the Lehman Group at KW Las Vegas. Phone number 702-289-5200. You can text me, call me anytime. That's my direct line. Or you can email me at nick@thelehmangroup.com. Happy to help. Here to help strategize and, make people's dreams come true.
Sweet. Yeah.
Dustin.
So, I'm not going to go that long. You can get a hold of me. Just throw it up on the screen. There it is.
There it is. Boom.
Producing branch manager. That's a hell of a title there. And there's my direct line. DD Hart.
Love that.
At kellermortgage.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. So
That's good.
great show, my friend. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to have a lot more coming at you. And again, it can only get better than this one.
Absolutely.
Right? So thank you very much, you guys.